got that in any old Michael Vick story. when he get out, boy, he starts running. It's like, it's over, boys. Ain't nobody catching it. It's done. I still remember my hat going like this. He ain't catching him. We ain't catching him. I kept saying, no, don't let him go. Oh, here he comes. He ran by me so fast, man, my hat waved. I said, bye-bye, man. We ain't catching that.
This is Freddie and Harry.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the best show on your radio. It is Freddie and Harry. Thank you very much. He is Harry Douglas. I'm Freddie Coleman together. Presented by Progressive Insurance on the ESPN app. SiriusXM Channel 80. And always tell your smart speaker to play ESPN radio. We're just going to get right into it because in the last 5 minutes, this story has become maintain the main thing. Maintain the main thing. The main thing, the main thing. The main thing, the main thing.
The Main Thing with Freddie and Harry.
We're all sitting here. Harry Douglas, Devin Kane, Shannon Penn, our producers, Christine Lacey, our sports anchor, all minding our business at 2:55 Eastern time. And then also we look and we're like, wait, what? The Milwaukee Bucks at 30-13, the third best record in the NBA, second best record in the Eastern Conference. At 30-13, they looked at Adrian Griffin and said, man, that key card's not going to work anymore, bro. They fired their head coach, Adrian Griffin, in his first year, Harry, after 43 games, a 30-13 record, and the second best record in the East, and the third best record in the NBA. Your brother played in the NBA. I'm sure you got some NBA stories that you can tell a little bit in your mind right now. Why? How? Where? Who?
I'll say when I look at this basketball team for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I also look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference. And if you're Milwaukee, you were able to win a championship not too long ago, right? But when you look at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, and I look at teams like the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Miami Heat, that have shown you multiple years that they don't have to be the best team, but come playoff time, they're going to be ready. Even if they're a wild card team, or not a wild card, a play-in team, they still have an opportunity. If they get into the dance, that they're going to have a chance, and they've proven that over the last few years. But even the Cavaliers and the Knicks. So you have to be able to stop some of these teams. You can't average 124.6 points per game, which is second in the National Basketball Association, but you're 25th in points given up, which is 120.5. Right? So the math's not mathing, because when you get to some of these top teams in the Eastern Conference, you need to get stops. You need stops in critical moments. So that's one thing. The second thing, we know this is a star-studded league in the NBA. It's not the NFL. Players don't run the National Football League. But when it comes to the NBA, players run the NBA. So if Giannis is unhappy, if Damian Lillard is unhappy with some things, then there's friction anywhere. Not saying it is, but if that's the case, then we're going to have situations like we see right now in Adrian Griffin, the former head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, no longer there.
By the way, Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN NBA Insider, do reporting that the Milwaukee Bucks have 43 games and a 30-13 record. They had to dismiss their coach, Adrian Griffin. Waiting to hear who the pool candidates that are in the mix to replace it, because they're expected to make Assistant Joe Prunty the interim coach. Waiting to hear part of the pool of candidates that they want to look at to replace Adrian Griffin. But Andrew Perkins, like his brother Tony, played in the NBA. Now ESPN NBA analyst, not even 15 minutes ago, he said maybe, just maybe, you should have expected this regarding the Milwaukee Bucks and Adrian Griffin and him no longer being the head coach.
The writing has been on the wall since the start of the season, right? When you look at the Bucks defense, it has been horrible, so bad that when I'm watching the game with my kids, I make them go to bed because I don't want them to see that type of defensive effort. And the fact of the matter is that Adrian Griffin never had a voice and never had the locker room from the start of training camp. And now we're seeing this happen, which is still surprising.
People waiting on Twitter already at Coleman ESPN and H Douglas 83. You can do the same thing in the Freddie Harry Call line. Your thoughts on Milwaukee Bucks? One season, not even one season, barely past the half halfway point. At 30-13, firing their coach Adrian Griffin after 43 games. Let us know at AAA say ESPN 888-729-3776. These is so good at this. That's wild, and with a good record, there has to be more news behind it. This is the way it says, has to be a backstory. Whatever that backstory is, we may never be party to it. But you know, Harry Douglas, somewhere, some way, Mike Budenholzer, the guy that they don't want anymore, that they moved out Adrian Griffin is sitting there going like, ooh, I guess I wasn't the problem.
It's crazy to think about, Freddie, but at the same time, there were issues, which we know there were defensively. We don't know the internal stuff. We're waiting to figure out what that stuff was, if it was anything.
True.
But the crazy part about it is that, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks didn't waste time, and here's why I believe they didn't waste time making this move. When you have a Giannis on your team, a former MVP, a former NBA champion, you have a Damian Lillard on your team that's hungry to win a championship, you have a championship roster, you don't have time to play around.
Right, you can't.
So if you sense there's blood in the water from the coaching side and you need to get rid of somebody, you don't need to waste time or say, you know what, maybe we need to hang on to him for a few more months. No, there's no reason to.
Well, I agree with Harry saying about the Bucks timetable. What I don't understand, if you knew this and you got to win right now, then why bring in a first-year head coach? Why bring in somebody? I get it, Adrian Griffin, respected throughout the league, long-time assistant. Why not bring somebody who already had head coaching experience if your window is right now?
Well, I'll tell you this also, Shannon. Now, we also got to realize Adrian Griffin was in Toronto, right, with Nick Nurse when they were able to get a Kawhi Leonard and win an NBA championship, and he's there with Ujiri, right? So maybe he was able to see things, and that was a confidence booster for upper management to hire him. We also can't forget that he is a former player, so maybe upper management thought he would be able to reach the players in a certain way, like we see a Jason Kidd, like we see a Tyronn Lue, right? Like we see a Doc Rivers.
Right.
But sometimes your candidates get in there and you realize, okay, it's not what I thought it was supposed to be, so I need to move forward.
By the way, Harry Douglas, Freddie Coleman together, and Freddie and Harry on ESPN Radio. Weigh in at AAA say ESPN 888-729-3776. After 43 games, the Milwaukee Bucks have fired their coach Adrian Griffin. They're 30-13, second best record in the Eastern Conference, third best record in the NBA. And they said, not good enough. They moved up on Adrian Griffin. He is out. Let us know what you have to say about who could be in next at 888-729-3776.
And another thing, Freddie, when it comes to the defense of the Milwaukee Bucks, when you look at players that you got to go against in that Eastern Conference, Joel Embiid leads the league in points average per game.
36.1.
And he just scored 70, right?
Yeah.
When I look at people like Donovan Mitchell, who's 6th in the league in scoring, Jason Tatum, who's 8th in the league scoring, you got Jalen Brunson, who's you got to defend Tyrese Maxey. He's 14th. You have to defend if you're going to get out of the East. That's not what the Milwaukee Bucks are doing right now, nor have they done it the first part of this NBA season.
To quote a guy that we know pretty well that played in the NFL, Bart Scott, there's stuff for nosebleed when it comes to the defense of the Milwaukee Bucks so far in the first part of the season. Michael in Atlanta, what do you got to say? 888-729-3776 on the Bucks moving on from Adrian Griffin after 43 games, even though they were 30-13.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Love the show. I just have two quick questions. Like, one, I mean, I understand the move potentially, but you look at the Pistons. I know they're not in the same situation, but they haven't even let their coach yet, go yet. And also, what about talking about black coaches? It's like they don't even have the same amount of rope whatsoever now. I mean, he didn't get to halfway of the season. I'll let him play there. That's one of the top things.
So when it comes to the Pistons, they're not win now, ready to win a championship. Hell, they're not even ready to make the playoffs right now.
They're not even ready to be in the lottery if they keep this up.
So what management for the Pistons viewed is, okay,